C'est l'une des stars françaises les plus célèbres.
We have done so many accordions records, so we know how things are supposed to sound. This is my first one, so I had nothing to be based in at all.
You wrote the lyrics with somebody who is called Niklas Frisk. That's how we say it in English?
Yeah, we wrote the music and the lyrics.
So that's a long story. This album is in fact a long story, right? Because you met Niklas Frisk, I read, one day. Can you tell us about this meeting?
Yeah, it was quite a long time ago, like 97, I think. And we met
3 years ago, 4 years ago?
And we met in the bar and we started talking about records, and then we said it would be fun to try to work together and do some sad and beautiful music. So then
sad. You said sad.
And then
why sad?
Because we were really badly wanting to make sad music. I don't know why, because it's so much more fun to make sad music.
Why?
It just is. I don't know. It's more a point to make sad music than to make happy music.
So you think it counts as a sad album?
It's quite melancholic, yeah. It's sad but hopeful, sort of. So we actually started to play and write stuff together, and then we recorded also. But it was a really good meeting.
Did you think it took a long time to give birth to this album?
No, not at all, because back then we actually did record it once in order to make it a record in the studio. So it was finished then, but then the record companies didn't want to put it out. So it was just sitting around and waiting for years. And then last year I had some time off, so I decided to just take all the material and go and re-record it and like make it fresher and finally get it out. So.
And how did your group reacted when you told them I want to do an album solo? Happy or proud or
it was
stressful?
Like the first time I did it, 97, 98, it was in another break from the Cardigans. So they didn't even know. I think I didn't almost not even tell them that I was doing it, because we had a time off from each other. But then eventually I told them, I made a record. But then it didn't come out, so I don't think they thought of it too much. But then
they didn't think it would come true.
No, yeah, exactly. And then last year I was like, okay, now I'm really gonna. Then I told them, now I'm gonna record again, and I will put it out, and I will tour and all that. And I don't know. I mean, in a way, it's like I don't know how they react, but
they were not very happy in the way you say things.
I think they are, but it's more that there's nothing they can say anyway, because you can't work in that way, that you only can work within one frame. Because then and that's quite obvious. I would be really tired of Cardigans if I hadn't had the opportunity to do something else as well.
But now you're going to be happy to work with them again.
Yeah,
like you took new experience.
Exactly,
right?
and just because now I have a natural outlet for my other ambitions, and Cardigans can keep doing the same thing. So it was sort of, for me, it was a necessary thing to keep doing Cardigans at all.
So now that you have experience working alone and working with your group, what is it that you like the most?
I think I need both very much.
Really?
Yeah.
You think that without the group?
If I really, really had to choose only one, I would choose my own stuff.
Why?
Because that I always have with me, and I can do it any time.
More freedom.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
but the Cardigans is something, it's a pride to keep doing it too, in a way. It's something like a restlessness. But now we've achieved so many good things, so it would be stupid to stop such a good project. That's the way it feels. But it's like, if you have a job, if you had a job and somebody gave you the opportunity to choose between doing your job or your hobby full time, you would choose your hobby.
Yeah, right. So that's your hobby.
It's the same thing, sort of. Yeah, well, now it's obviously my work too, because I work a lot on it, but it's something new, at least. It's something refreshing.
Did you give ideas to the other members of the group? Do they now want to make their own album solo, or they don't even think about it?
Well, actually, Peter did, the guitar player, he did a solo album in 98. And Magnus, the bass player, is making one right now. So there's 3 of us that are doing it. 2 guys are not very interested in doing solo things, so they have been studying different things instead. But I think we all had like a puberty time.
So let's come back to the album Camp. We were talking about the lyrics. You like sad songs. Do you have themes you really like writing about, or themes you didn't write about and you would like to write about?
I think I pretty much go on about the same themes always when I write, like in the Cardigans and in the camp. And the subjects would be like frustrating love situations, frustrating love, bad love, and...
Is that a personal album? Do you think so?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Love is hard, but it's good. But it's like love and death are always making people do really weird things, and I think that's very interesting.
So you want to keep on with those themes?
I don't think I can do much else. I've been trying occasionally to do, like, singing about the world and about, you know, different things, but it doesn't really work. I have more thoughts when it comes to these subjects, and, like, about feeling left over, obviously, and isolated, different things like that, in that field. Like, I think it's all about people interacting, at least.
So a camp is the name of this album. It's not the name of none of your songs on the album. Why did you choose a camp?
Because when we recorded the first time in '98, we went up to Värmland, in the woods.
In Sweden?
In Sweden, and it was very cold, very much snow and everything. And it was me and Niklas, and then it was like a couple of different random musicians. So it felt a little bit like we were going on a camp.
Yeah.
It was like, we packed our bags and went up there and slept in bunk beds and went for walks. It was like, I like to think about this project as a camp, but I will hopefully always be the camp leader. But then the camp members can differ between the records and, you know, go different places.
So that's really the image of your album, the thing you just described.
I like to think of it that way, yeah.
Yeah. The first single out of this album is called I Can Buy You. Mm-hmm. What do you mean by I Can Buy You? Do you think we can buy somebody?
I think the song is ultimately about being really, really desperate for love, and so desperate that you would, you know, if you can't get it by any other means, then you can try to buy people. I think you can buy, there's certain people that you definitely can buy, obviously. But I don't think it's necessarily the people you need that you can buy.
Definitely not, no. I don't think so.
But I think it's an interesting image, because I'm sure that everybody in some point in their life have been thinking that, been so, you know, wanting something so badly that if you could buy it, you would go straight to the bank and take a bank loan and buy it.
Is it your favorite song on this album, or you don't have any favorite song?
It's still hard for me to pick out songs, but I think it's a really good, I mean, even when we wrote it, I think
Did you choose this one? Did you choose this song as your first single?
Yeah, because I think I remember even when we wrote this one, which was a long, long time ago, I think even when we sat there and wrote it, we said that, wow, this must be a single at some point, because it was very, somehow, easy to write, and songs that come out easily reach people easy too. Yeah, so it's like direct and natural, good music, sort of. So I think that's still one of the most fantastic songs I've ever achieved, in a way. I'm not sure it's my favorite one, but sometimes it's just fun to realize that you can write songs that you can play on the radio, too. True.
Did you experience being on scene alone, I mean, or not yet?
Yeah, I did. Last week we played 2 English festivals, and we had a show of our own in London as well.
That was your first time?
Yes, except for in '98 we did 2 shows with the camp, whereof one was in a pizzeria. Really cute. But yeah, this time around it was the first time we played it live.
Yeah, so how do you feel? Is it different? Again, is it different to...
That's not really very different, because being on stage is always the same kind of experience.
Yeah?
But it's nice.
No more fear? A little bit more,
there was less fear, but I think it was less fear.
How can you explain that?
Because I've chosen this in such a different way than I've chosen the Cardigans before. You see what I mean? This is, in a way, like just the fact that I've made this record and I've gathered the people that play with me and everything, it makes it feel so much easier somehow. I don't know why.
But the pressure is still the same when you're on stage.
Yeah, maybe
when you're well.
I think I feel that this feels easier in a way. I feel more pressure on the Cardigans because we have.
Oh, you do still now?
Oh yeah, because we have done records before. People have something. They expect something from us. And this is my first record, and people came to my shows and they haven't even heard the record, and that's a huge freedom.
Yeah.
They can't hear if you play wrong because they don't know how it's supposed to sound. But.
Which is funny because usually when somebody, because it's not the first time, a lot of people who are in groups start a solo career, they feel a lot of pressure and are very stressed about coming out with an album. You don't feel stressed with this album at all? Because you know, maybe it's because the Cardigans are still there. Maybe they help you in that way, don't you think so?
I don't know. I think one reason might be that I've been working on this music for so long, because 4 years is a long process of living with songs before you release it. I think that's one thing, that I have reconsidered these songs many, many times, many more times than you do if you're just going to the studio for a couple of months to make a record. I think that's a big reason. And I've had the opportunity. It's not very often you have the opportunity to record one record twice. Okay,
but just imagine for 1 second that you don't have the Cardigans anymore because you split off, or I don't know. Anyway, you come out with this album. If you don't succeed, it's much more important for your personal career. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So in that way, maybe you don't feel pressure. No, you never thought about it.
No, because there was never, I mean... No, not really like that either.
Well, you feel cool anyway with this album. That's very good. Okay. Anyway, as a solo artist, now that we can say that you are a solo artist, if you could choose someone with who you could perform, like, you know, there's so many duets, who would it be?
If I could choose anyone, I think I would choose... Yeah. Johnny Cash or Neil Young would be amazing.
And who are they?
There's two still living legends to me. Johnny Cash is, they're both like in sort of like American. Johnny Cash is a pretty faithful country musician, has done pretty like traditional country music, but he sings fantastic. He has a fantastic voice. And he's kind of dark-minded and really cool.
He's like dark-minded. He likes sad songs.
Yeah,
he likes laughing.
I don't know. That's
black color.
Very appealing somehow.
Yeah. How can you explain that?
I don't know. It just makes you curious somehow. I don't know.
It makes you realize how happy you are.
It's really funny because the people with the darkest minds mostly have the best sense for humor.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. And that's... yeah. And Neil Young, by the way, is another American artist who's more like in the rock school, but with some flirtations with country music.
Yeah. How would you classify your music?
I've been calling it Euro country because it started with me being very inspired by country music, but it sounded more country music when I recorded the first time. And last year we actually took away some country influences because I didn't feel like, I didn't want to talk about country music all the time, and I don't want to do like a pretending to, you know, Nina goes to Nashville, put on the cowboy hat record, because I'm not, I think you have to have a certain background to get away with a pure country record.
So what are your musical influence? Black music too? Dark music? Who did you listen to when you were a kid?
When I was a kid, the only like idols I can remember was Donna Summer and Joan Jett. I've been listening. I really listen to a lot of...
That's not dark music.
No, I really like a lot of like not dark music as well, but it's something that, you know.
And is there somebody who gave you the envy to sing and to do this job?
No, not really, because I didn't really choose or discover that I wanted to sing until I joined the Cardigans. So it was more, no. I never had any role models that I want to be like him or like her in that sense.
And as a Swedish girl, do you like Swedish music?
Yeah, there's a lot of really good stuff.
Yeah, like what?
Unfortunately, it's all things that never seem to get commercial, but there's one band that's really fantastic called The Soundtrack of Our Lives. And there's actually two guys from that band in my band now. So, of course, I like them. And there's a really good band called Silver Bullet, a really good rock band. Another good band called The Hives. And,
And what do you think about, of course, I have to ask you about Abba. Did you like them?
They were really good songwriters.
So now, how are you going to manage this double career? You're not afraid of it. I don't feel you afraid of it, but
I'm not afraid of it, but I'm aware that I might kill myself with work.
But that's good. It's good to kill you.
Okay.
With work, it's better than with something else.
Yeah.
As a dark-minded girl.
I just have to be aware. I think I need to maybe get a week holiday in between other projects, maybe, and then I'll be fine.
If you had not succeeded as a singer, what would you have done as another job? What other job? That's really a hard question, and I in a way I was saved by the music, because I didn't have an idea what I wanted to do. And then I joined the band, and suddenly that became my job. But when I joined the band, I was in art school, so I probably would have done something in that field. I think, but this is also what I think now. Now I think I should have become a photographer. Yeah. But I can't really remember if I wanted to back then. Like some kind of arty-farty thing. Okay, anyway, singer is good. Yeah, it is really good. But if I now would get a completely new life to start over, I would become a doctor. Oh, that has nothing to do. No, I'm really... No, I love my job. It's really fantastic. But I wish I could have another life, because I'm a little bit sad that I didn't get to do any academic studies or any, like... You don't really save a lot of lives when you make records. You still can. Yeah, if I'd started to study to be a doctor now, I would be done by 40. And it's a little bit sad. It leaves me a very short time in the profession. What's your dream today? I'm really psyched to go on tour, actually, with this. With this album? Yeah. Alone? So it's exciting in a way to perform alone? Yeah. Well, I have another band. It's without the Cardigans. Yeah, I know. It's another group of people, so I feel really safe. But people don't see it that way, you know? Now they can really see you as a solo artist. It's good that you feel this way. Yeah. Well, good.